So good to be back here. Good morning, CSL.
Good morning.
So, you know at CSL we have 7 core values. We stand for something in the world, and they are love and healing and oneness and abundance and spiritual growth and service and diversity. And the core value that we're highlighting today to keep at the forefront of your mind and in your life this week is abundance. Abundance, not abundance. You could do that either way. So I just finished up this course called Finding the Love of Your Life, and I really enjoyed teaching that course. And one of the things that came out of it, the takeaway for the people in the course, was until you say no to what you don't want, what you do want cannot and will not show up. And you would think it would be really easy to say no to what you don't want, but very often in life we get fragments and we take crumbs. So some of what we want shows up, some of what we want shows up in our careers, some of what we want shows up in our right and perfect mate, at our search for that. Some of what we want always shows up in life because the world is trying to convince you to accept less all of the time. I am here to serve as your reminder today that there is enough good to go around for everybody, that we live in a universe of abundance. Abundance. Abundance is our core value. Don't settle for less than what you really want. I don't know whether you know this or not, but CSL is part of a global organization with over 500 centers worldwide. We are a spiritual community that honors all religions and faiths. In fact, one of our center leaders is here with us today, Reverend Joe Hooper, here from the Palm Desert Center. Joe, will you stand? We know there's no wrong way to worship, whether you're lighting a candle, repeating a mantra, or offering a prayer. We respect and we honor all ways that lead us closer to Spirit. And so we celebrate the diversity in religious practices today with our ceremony that we call the Flames of Faith. The candle is lit for the Tao to honor the universal path of harmony, the natural way. The candle is lit for the shamanic traditions, honoring the belief and practices of all indigenous peoples worldwide. The candle is lit for Hinduism to honor the spiritual path of devotion and the variety of religious icons and deities. The candle is lit for Judaism to honor the path of sacred law. The candle is lit for Buddhism to honor the Four Noble Truths and the way of compassion. The candle is lit for Christianity to honor the Christ consciousness that lives in all of us. The candle is lit for Islam to honor the path of peaceful submission to the will of God. The candle is lit for the universalistic religion of Baha'i to honor the path of unity. And the candle is lit for our own faith, which we call New Thought, to honor the metaphysical path and the practice of universal spiritual principles. And finally, and most importantly, the last candle is lit for peace and for the peaceful acceptance of all faiths and all religions worldwide. Life is difficult. That's the first sentence of the book that M. Scott Peck wrote years ago in The Road Less Traveled. And when I read that sentence, I put the book down and I didn't pick it up for almost a year, because who the hell wants to read a book that says life is difficult? I don't want life to be difficult. I want it to be easy. Nobody I know says, I'm looking for a difficult husband. I'm looking for a difficult wife. No one wants to go to a psychic and hear them say, my friend, you're going to have a difficult life. We want them to say there's good fortune in your life and in your future and lots of love and health and happiness and all that good stuff. That's what we want to hear. And yet, whether we like it or not, I'm afraid Mr. Peck is right. Life is difficult. You will fall. You will fail. Sometimes you will get what you want, and sometimes you won't. Some people are going to think you're great. And some people are going to think you stink. You're going to have big gains and huge losses. You will laugh your ass off, and you will cry your heart out. And that's the way it's supposed to be, because human life is a spiritual practice. You see, it's not just meditation and prayer that lead us to wisdom and love. That's all fine and well. But the greatest spiritual practice is to accept life as it presents itself, to be conscious through all of the good times and all of the bad, to fall down and get back up again, to fail and try again and again and again and again, to feel the fear, to be so afraid that your legs shake and your mouth gets dry, but you do it anyway. Human life is your spiritual practice. It calls on you to be loving to those who don't deserve love. It calls on you to love them anyway, to have faith when, and especially when, things look the worst. I have to tell you, in my 30 years of ministry, I have been present and accounted for at all of the agonies and ecstasies of the human experience. I have had what I believe is the sacred honor to witness it all. I was with the woman whose husband got up from the breakfast table after 30 years of marriage, went upstairs and hung himself. And she found him an hour later, and his body was still alive, but the oxygen had been removed from his brain, so he was brain dead. So I was with her when she went to the hospital to sign the papers to donate his organs. I was with her in that hospital room when the doctors pulled the plug and called him dead, and I was with her for the next few months when she walked through her life like a zombie, struggling to make sense of it all, asking questions that have no answers. Why? I held the hand of the man whose husband literally died in his arms of a massive heart attack. I went with him to the funeral home to view the casket. I absolutely held him up as he literally screamed out loud from pain. I've seen the tragedy and loss of human life. I've been there. I've been present to it. And I've also seen the other side of human life. The times when there's so much joy, our heart feels like it's going to explode. I've been in the delivery room with couples who welcomed their first child into the world. I've seen their faces as they witness this sacred event of birth into the world, of a divine expression of God. I've wiped away their tears of joy when they realize they can love someone so deep it's hard for them to even comprehend. I've looked straight into the eyes of a young black man who's been beaten down by this society and watched him rise up to take his place of rightful authority and power. I've coached him through the questions of his own worth and watched him stand strong and conscious. And I've seen this same awakening in you as you realize you are more than your story. You are more than the pain you've gone through. Consciousness awakens on the planet, and I can see it happening in you now. You see, the trick in life isn't to avoid all the bad things that can happen to you in life. It's to incorporate them into your being. It's to rise up from them even stronger and wiser and more loving. Life isn't just about the joyful things and the happy days. It's also about the sorrow, and it's about being present and vulnerable through it all. Rising strong, that's our theme for the month. How to go through the trials and tribulations of human life, the pain and the sorrow, and somehow make your way through it. In our book of the month of the same name, Brené Brown, the author, wrote this. She said, vulnerability is not winning or losing. It's having the courage to show up and be seen when we have no control over the outcome. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is our greatest measure of courage. Wait. What did she say? No control over the outcome? I hate that. I hate that. The stubborn part of me doesn't want life to be difficult. The immature part of me wants it all to be bunnies and butterflies and unicorns and fairies, just like it is in Wilton Manors on a Saturday night. Tequila and tacos and bunnies and fairies, you know? I don't want to admit that I have no control over the outcome in human life. I want to control it. I want to fix it. I want to make it work. I want it to go the way I want it to go all the time. We're all like that. We want to be in control. We want things to go our way. But it doesn't take long living in one of these human bodies in this world of ours to realize you have zero control over most all that happens in life. The truth is, there's really only one thing that you have absolute and complete control over, and that is how you think and how you feel. And that, my friends, determines what's going to happen to you in this world and how life is going to treat you. Is it going to wear you down when you experience a great loss? I didn't say if. When you experience a great loss, will you drown yourself in sorrow, or will you get up and dust yourself off and get back in the game? When you get jilted by a lover or a marriage fails, will you spend the rest of your life angry and bitter or reliving that pain and become one of the walking wounded in our world? Or will you find the courage to love again? I don't know about you, but I want to be on the field in the game of life. I want to be present emotionally to all of it. I want to feel all the feelings. I want my life to be a passionate adventure of a conscious creator. I'm not going to be a victim of the world's suffering, and I will not succumb to its negativity. I want to have high-level conversations with conscious people, not idle chit-chat. I want to talk about the intelligent life in the universe, maybe beyond our own planet, out there in the universe, in the billions of stars and trillions of planets. I want to delve deeply into the potential of our consciousness and its ability to shift reality through quantum mechanics. I want to be with powerfully creative people like you who are awakening to their soul's potential. I want to be a player on the field, not a passive observer in the stands, way up there in the cheap seats in the nosebleed section. Brene Brown warns us about those people and cautions us not to listen to them, because you see, it's really easy to criticize those of us who are actually doing the work when you're not doing the work or risking anything yourself. When you're not down here with us in the trenches, working on your own challenges, trying to find your own power, it's easy to find fault. Very easy, like the passive observers on social media who are so anxious to put you down. And the funny thing about it is, they think they've actually done something by posting their opinions, when in truth they've done nothing. Nothing to lift themselves up, nothing to change the world any way, shape, or form. This is what Brene says about them in her book. She wrote this: we need to be selective about the feedback we let into our lives. For me, if you're not in the arena getting your ass kicked, I'm not interested in your feedback. I love this woman. I love this woman. Take advice from wise friends. Listen to the stories of your loved ones. Learn something from them if you can, but make sure the people you are listening to have got skin in the game. Make sure they're really partners with you in the uplifting of consciousness in your life, in their lives, and in the world. Make sure they're really on your team, wanting you to succeed. And then train yourself to ignore the others, the ones who just want to judge and criticize, the fearful masses that are too afraid to be taking the risks you're taking, too afraid to fail or fall down like you've done 100 times. They don't know anything about you. They don't know anything about the challenges you face, the struggles you've gone through, and the triumphs you've had. Don't listen to them. Life is difficult. Human life is filled with troubles. It's horrible. And it's beautiful. It's tragic. And it's epic. All the same. A perfect mashup of the divine in human form. Of God as you, taking this shape and this form so that it might experience life on this level and feel all the feelings of a human being. The grapes have to be crushed to make wine. The trees and the bushes have to be pruned in order to grow healthy and well. On the surface of the planet, when winter occurs, everything looks and appears to be dead. The trees lose their leaves, the grass turns brown. But every spring, every single spring, life comes alive again on the planet. We can learn something from this natural phenomenon of nature. The lesson to learn is best taught by the words of Khalil Gibran, who said this: "The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain." Now, although that is true, this lesson will be impossible to remember when you're in pain. You won't even be able to hear it. When someone you love dies, I didn't say if, when someone you love dies, it is hard for you to believe that joy will ever return to fill this huge chasm that the loss has carved into your soul. But I promise, the day will come and you will rise up out of your suffering. The day will come when light shines again brightly on your soul and the pain subsides. It is the promise of love that we all inherit. For every loss, there is a gain. For every tragedy, there is growth and value added. And in the end, the only stories left to tell are the love stories. Being open to all that life brings you, the sorrows and the joy, takes a brave woman, a courageous man. Vulnerability is a feeling most people avoid. They don't want to have anything to do with it because they think it is weak. But actually, it's just the opposite. It takes an immense amount of courage to be vulnerable, to open your heart to others because someone's going to hurt you. It takes an immense amount of courage to follow your dreams because you might fail. It takes an immense amount of courage to listen to the calling of your inner voice, that God inside you that says you absolutely deserve the very best that life has to offer. You are worthy of love. And perhaps, maybe even it takes more courage to not listen to the critics, the walking wounded, and the unhealed. Look, I don't think you came here in this world to live a small life, to go unnoticed and unloved. I don't think you came here to hide out in fear at home and minimize your risks. I think there's a big life waiting for you. A big life. A roller coaster ride of ups and downs that will take you to the very, very top of the roller coaster and slam you back down so that you have to face every single fear you've ever had in your life and then wind you back around so that you can scream again with joy. The ups and downs, the agonies and ecstasies of a beautiful soul who's come to earth to bring something new to life, that's you. You're here to leave an imprint in the sand, to say, I was here. You're here to let your tears wet the earth and to leave behind all the love in your heart Because isn't that what it's really all about? It's the love we leave behind. And so ends the lesson. Love. It's what we all seek. The interaction of love being given and love being received. It's our home base. It's our healing. It's the answer to every question, the solution to every problem. We come here to find love, but it's not from other people. We come here to find it within our own hearts and souls. Let's go there now. Let's go inside.
I breathe out, I breathe in, I am still, I go within. When I quiet my mind, in the stillness I find. Spirit meets me there. Spirit meets me there.
I take this time to turn inward, to ignore all the appearances in life, to turn away from the stories of my life, the good or bad, to be here present in this moment, to experience the love that lives inside my own heart, to listen to the wisdom that flows through my own mind. We each have a direct spiritual link, a DSL line to the divine. It communicates its healing words and its truth inside to you and to me, through our thoughts and our feelings, through our intuition. If you will take some time to turn off the chaotic noise of the world, of the fearful masses screaming for help, and turn inward to the silence, you will find your Creator there. You will find love, the answer to every question. Let's take some time to do that now. You have an inner core, just like the planet does. An inner core of love and healing and wisdom. You have everything you need to succeed. It already lives inside of you. Stop listening to what everyone on the outside is saying. Go within and find your truth, your love, your healing. It awaits your return. And so it is.
I breathe out, I breathe in, I am still, I go within. When I quiet my mind, in the stillness I find. Spirit meets me there. Spirit meets me there.
We close, as we always do, with our affirmation and a prayer. Your affirmation looks just like mine, and it says the same thing. Would you say it with me aloud? Vulnerability is a strength, and I'm rising strong. Let's know this together. There is a life and an intelligence at the helm of the universe. It is pure and perfect and whole. It is all power, all knowing, and everywhere present. It is the life of God, and it is creating trillions of ideas of its own perfect wisdom, and you are one of those ideas. You have been created in the image and likeness of the divine, of its own wholeness and its own perfection, and you have been put here in this body at this time in history for a reason, so that you might experience all the good that life has to offer and go through the bad knowing it's not who you are, it's just an experience. Stay open and vulnerable to all that life gives you. There's value in it all. And know the truth through it all. You are a perfect expression of God, entitled to the highest possible quality of life. That truth is established in consciousness now, becomes the dominant idea from which you live this week. And all we have to do now to let it be so is to say it is. And so it is. We'll see you again here next week at CSL or on Facebook live stream at the same time, 10:30 a.m. Eastern. Namaste. Have a great week, y'all. Thank you for watching, and thanks for supporting CSL. If you'd like to know more about us, check us out on our website or social media. Blessings.